What if I told you one of the most perfect everyday motorcycles already existed decades ago, and we just forgot about it? Not because it wasn't good, but because it was too simple to stand out. And here's the twist. If Honda brought it back today, it might quietly become one of the most loved bikes on the road. Welcome back to Acer Rider, and today we're talking about a seriously underrated comeback, the 2026 Honda XL185S. Now let me be real with you from the start. This is not a wow bike. It's not the kind of machine that makes people turn their heads. It's not going to win spec sheet battles. It's not going to dominate YouTube thumbnails. But here's the thing, and this is where my personal take really comes in. This is exactly the kind of bike you end up loving the most, because the original XL185S wasn't built to impress. It was built to work. It had a simple 180 cubic centimeter four-stroke engine making around 16 horsepower, a 5-speed gearbox, and a lightweight frame that made it incredibly easy to ride. Nothing crazy, but everything just right. And honestly, I think that's something we've completely lost today, because now every bike is trying to be better than the last one. More power, more features, more tech. But nobody's asking the simple question, is it actually enjoyable to live with? And this is where the 2026 Honda XL185S could completely change the conversation. Let's talk design first. The original XL185S had that classic dual sport look, high fender, round headlights, slim tank, upright stance. It looked like a tool, not a toy. And personally, I love that. Because I don't always want a bike that looks aggressive or overstyled. Sometimes I just want something that looks honest. So if Honda brings this back in 2026, I really hope they keep that same energy, keep it slim, keep it lightweight, keep it simple. Maybe clean up the lines a bit, add LED lighting, improve build quality, but don't overdo it. Because the moment you try to make this bike modern in a flashy way, you ruin what makes it special. Now let's talk engine, because this is where I feel very strongly. The original had a small air-cooled four-stroke engine, around 180 cubic centimeters, simple carburetor, kickstart, and that classic Honda reliability. It wasn't fast, but it didn't need to be. And I'll be honest, this is exactly the kind of engine I'd want again. Not something aggressive, not something high-revving and demanding, just something smooth, predictable, and reliable. A modern 180 cubic centimeters to 200 cubic centimeters fuel-injected engine would be perfect. And here's my personal opinion, this is important. I don't want this bike to be fast. I want it to be usable. Because there's a huge difference. A fast bike impresses you for a few minutes. A usable bike becomes part of your daily life. And I think a lot of riders don't realize this until they actually experience it. Now let's talk about how this bike would feel to ride. Lightweight, that's everything. The original was around 118 kilograms wet. That's insanely light compared to modern bikes. And this is something I personally care about a lot. Because lightweight bikes are just more fun. You don't struggle in traffic. You don't feel tired after riding. You don't hesitate to take a rough road or a dirt path. You just go. And that's the kind of freedom I think most riders are actually looking for. Now imagine this with modern suspension. The original already had decent travel, around 200 millimeters front and 165 millimeters rear. Now upgrade that with modern damping, better tuning, and improved stability, and suddenly this bike becomes way more capable. You could ride comfortably in the city, take on broken roads easily, explore trails without stress. And this is where I personally connect with this bike the most, because I don't always want to plan my rides. Sometimes I just want to get on a bike and go wherever the road takes me, and this is exactly the kind of machine that allows that. Now, braking, obviously this needs a modern upgrade. The original had drum brakes, which, let's be honest, not ideal today. A 2026 version would definitely need disc brakes and ABS, and that's a good thing, because this is where modern tech actually improves the experience without ruining it. Now, features. This is where I think Honda needs to be very careful, because this bike should not become complicated. Fuel injection? Yes. LED lights? Sure. Simple display? Okay, but that's it. No ride modes, no complicated electronics, no unnecessary extras. Because the moment you start adding too much, you lose the magic. And I truly believe this. The simplicity of this bike is its biggest strength. Now let's talk about who this bike is really for. And honestly, I think it's for more people than they realize. Beginners? Perfect. Easy to ride, not intimidating, and great for learning. Experienced riders? This is where it gets interesting. Because I know a lot of riders, including myself, who sometimes just want to go back to basics. No stress, no pressure, no need to manage the bike, just ride. And this is something I personally feel a lot. Sometimes the smaller bikes give you the biggest smiles, and the XL185S is exactly that kind of machine. Now here's the twist I mentioned at the beginning. What if the 2026 Honda XL185S doesn't try to compete with anything, but ends up beating everything in one specific way? Enjoyment. Because think about it. A bike like this could replace your daily commuter, your casual weekend ride, your light off-road machine. All in one, not because it's the best at any one thing, but because it's good at everything. And honestly, that's rare. So the real question is, would you actually choose a bike like this? Something simple, lightweight, and built for real-world riding? Or would you still go for something bigger, faster, and more complicated? Because I'll be honest, if I had to pick one bike to live with every day, this would be right at the top of my list, no doubt. If this got you thinking, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Acer Rider. We're not just talking about bikes, we're talking about what actually makes riding enjoyable. And before we wrap this up, quick disclaimer. The 2026 Honda XL185S discussed here is not an officially confirmed model by Honda. This concept is based on historical models, real specifications, and current trends, combined with AI-assisted creative interpretation for entertainment and discussion purposes. Because sometimes, the bikes that seem the simplest are the ones you never want to let go of.